The Glass Menagerie, continuing scene 5, actually. Yeah. Tom, I'd rather smoke. He steps out on the landing, letting the screen door slam. Amanda sharply, I know, that's the tragedy of it. Alone, she turns to look at her husband's picture. Dinner music. The world is waiting for the sunrise. Tom to the audience. Across the alley from us was the Paradise Dance Hall. On evenings in spring, the windows and doors were open and the music came outdoors. Sometimes the lights were turned out except for a large glass sphere that hung from the ceiling. It would turn slowly about and filter the dusk with delicate rainbow colors. Then the orchestra played a waltz or a tango, something that had a slow and sensuous rhythm. Couples would come outside to the relative privacy of the alley. You could see them kissing behind ash pits and telephone poles. This was the compensation for lives that passed like mine, without any change or adventure. Adventure and change were imminent in this year. They were waiting around the corner for all these kids, suspended in the mist over Berchtesgaden, caught in the folds of Chamberlain's umbrella. In Spain, there was Guernica, but here there was only hot swing music and liquor, dance halls, bars, and movies, and sex that hung in the gloom like a chandelier and flooded the world with brief, deceptive rainbows. All the world was waiting for bombardments. I don't know, it sounds pretty good to me. Sorry, I diverse. Amanda turns from the picture and comes outside. Amanda, sighing. Fire escapes landings, a poor excuse for porch. She spreads a newspaper on a step and sits down gracefully and demurely as if she were settling into a swing on a Mississippi veranda. What are you looking at? The moon. Is there a moon this evening? Tom, it's rising over Garfinkel's delicatessen. Amanda, so it is. A little silver sliver of a moon. Have you made a wish upon it yet? Tom, uh-huh. Amanda, what did you wish for? That's a secret. A secret, huh? Well, I won't tell you mine either. I'll just be as mysterious as you. Tom, I bet I can guess what yours is. Amanda, is my head so transparent? Tom, you're not a sphinx. Amanda, no, I don't have secrets. I'll tell you what I wished for on the moon. Success and happiness for my precious children. I wish for that whenever there's a moon, and when there isn't a moon, I wish for it too. Tom, I thought perhaps you wished for a gentleman caller. Amanda, why do you say that? Tom, don't you remember asking me to fetch one? Amanda, I remember suggesting it would be nice for your sister if you brought home some nice young man from the warehouse. I think that I've made that suggestion more than once. Tom, yes, you have made it repeatedly. Well, we are going to have one. What? A gentleman caller? The Annunciation is celebrated with music. Amanda rises. Image on screen. A caller with a bouquet. Amanda, you mean you have asked some nice young man to come over? Tom, yep, I've asked him to dinner. Amanda, you really did? I did. You did? And did he accept? He did. Well, that's lovely. I thought you would be pleased. It's definite then. Very definite. Soon? Very soon. For heaven's sake, stop putting on and tell me some things, will you? What things do you want me to tell you? Naturally, I'd like to know when he's coming. He's coming tomorrow. Tomorrow? Yep, tomorrow. But Tom. Yes, Mother. Tomorrow gives me no time. Time for what? Preparations. Why didn't you phone me at once as soon as you asked him? The minute that he accepted? Why didn't you phone me the minute you asked him? The minute that he accepted? Then don't you see I could have been getting ready? You don't have to make any fuss. Amanda, oh, Tom, of course I have to make a fuss. I want things nice, not sloppy, not thrown together. I'll certainly have to do some fast thinking, won't I? Tom, I don't see why you have to think at all. Amanda, you just don't know. We can't have a gentleman caller in a pigsty. All my wedding silver has to be polished. The monogram table linen ought to be laundered. The windows have to be washed and fresh curtains put up. And how about clothes? We have to wear something, don't we? Tom, Mother, this boy is no one to make a fuss over. Amanda, do you realize he's the first young man we've introduced to your sister? It's terrible, dreadful, disgraceful that poor little sister has never received a single gentleman caller. Tom, come inside. She opens the screen door. What for? Amanda, I want to ask you some things. Tom, if you're going to make such a fuss, I'll call it off. I'll tell him not to come. Amanda, you certainly won't do anything of the kind. Nothing offends people worse than broken engagements. It simply means I'll have to work like a Turk. We won't be brilliant, but we will pass inspection. Come on inside. Tom follows her inside, groaning. Sit down. Tom, any particular place you would like me to sit? Amanda, thank heavens I've got the new sofa. I'm also making payments on a floor lamp I'll have sent out, and put the chintz covers on. They'll brighten things up. Of course, I'd hope to have these walls repapered. And what is the young man's name? Tom, his name is O'Connor. Amanda, that of course means fish. Tomorrow is Friday. I'll have that salmon loaf with Durkee's dressing. What does he do? He works at the warehouse. Tom, of course. How else would I? Amanda, Tom, he doesn't drink, does he? Why do you ask me that? Your father did. Don't get started on that. He does drink then. Not that I know of. Amanda, make sure, be certain. The last thing I want for my daughter is a boy who drinks. Tom, aren't you being a little bit premature? Mr. O'Connor has not yet appeared on the scene. Amanda, but will tomorrow, to meet your sister. And what do I know about his character? Nothing. Old maids are better off than wives of drunkards. Tom, oh my God. Amanda, be still. Tom, leaning forward to whisper, lots of fellows meet girls whom they don't marry. Amanda, oh, talk sensibly, Tom, and don't be sarcastic. She's gotten a hairbrush. Tom, what are you doing? Amanda, I'm brushing that cowlick down. She attacks his hair with the brush. What is this young man's position at the warehouse? Tom, submitting grimly to the brush and the interrogation. This young man's position is that of a shipping clerk, Mother. Amanda, sounds to me like a fairly responsible job. The sort of a job you would be in if you just had more get-up. What is his salary? Have you any idea? Tom, I would judge it to be approximately $85 a month. Amanda, well, not princely, but... Tom, 20 more than I make. Amanda, yes, how well I know. But for a family man, $85 a month is not much more than you can just get by on. Tom, yes, but Mr. O'Connor is not a family man. Amanda, he might be, mightn't he? Sometime in the future? Tom, I see. Plans and provisions. Amanda, you are the only young man that I know of who ignores the fact that the future becomes the present the past, and the past turns into everlasting regret if you don't plan for it. Tom, I will think that over and see what I can make of it. Amanda, don't be supercilious with your mother. Tell me some more about this. What do you call him? Tom, James D. O'Connor. The D is for Delaney. Amanda, Irish on both sides. Gracious, and he doesn't drink? Tom, shall I call him up and ask him right this minute? Amanda, the only way to find out about these things is to make discreet inquiries at the proper moment. When I was a girl in Blue Mountain, and it was suspected that a young man drank, the girl whose attentions he had been receiving, if any girl was, would sometimes speak to the minister of his church, or rather her father would, if her father was living, and sort of feel him out on the young man's character. That is the way such things are discreetly handled to keep a young woman from making a tragic mistake. Tom, then how did you happen to make a tragic mistake? Amanda, That innocent look of your father's had everyone fooled. He smiled. The world was enchanted. No girl can do worse than put herself at the mercy of a handsome appearance. I hope that Mr. O'Connor is not too good-looking. Tom, no, he's not too good-looking. He's covered with freckles and hasn't too much of a nose. Amanda, he's not right down homely, though. Tom, not right down homely, just medium homely, I'd say. Amanda, character's what to look for in a man. Tom, that's what I've always said, Mother. Amanda, you've never said anything of the kind, and I suspect you would never give it a thought. Tom, don't be so suspicious of me. Amanda, at least I hope he's the type that's up and coming. Tom, I'd think he really goes in for self-improvement. Amanda, what reason have you to think so? Tom, he goes to night school. Amanda, that's splendid. What does he do? I mean, study. Tom, radio engineering and public speaking. Amanda, then he has visions of being advanced in the world. Any young man who studies public speaking is aiming to have an executive job someday. And radio engineering, a thing for the future. Both of these facts are very illuminating. Those are the sort of things that a mother should know concerning any young man who comes to call on her daughter, seriously or not. Tom, one little warning. He doesn't know about Laura. I didn't let on that we had dark ulterior motives. I just said, why don't you come and have dinner with us? He said, okay, and that was the whole conversation. Amanda, I bet it was. You're eloquent as an oyster. However, he'll know about Laura when he gets here. When he sees how lovely and sweet and pretty she is, he'll thank his lucky stars he was asked to dinner. Tom, Mother, you mustn't expect too much of Laura. Amanda, what do you mean? Tom, Laura seems all those things to you and me because she's ours and we love her. We don't even notice she's crippled anymore. Amanda, don't say crippled. You know that I never allow that word to be used. Tom, but face facts, Mother. She is, and that's not all. Amanda, what do you mean, not all? Tom, Laura is very different from other girls. Amanda, I think the difference is all to her advantage. Tom, not quite all in the eyes of others, strangers. She's terribly shy and lives in a world of her own, and those things make her seem a little peculiar to people outside the house. Amanda, don't say peculiar. Tom, face the facts. She is. The dance hall music changes to a tango that has a minor and somewhat ominous tone. Amanda, in what way is she peculiar, may I ask? Tom, gently. She lives in a world of her own, a world of little glass ornaments, Mother. He gets up. Amanda remains holding the brush, looking at him troubled. She plays old phonograph records, and that's about all. He glances at himself in the mirror and crosses to the door. Amanda sharply, where are you going? Tom, I'm going to the movies. He goes out the screen door. Amanda, not to the movies. Every night to the movies. She follows quickly to the screen door. I don't believe you always go to the movies. He is gone. Amanda looks worriedly after him for a moment. Then vitality and optimism return as she turns from the door, crossing to the portieres. Laura! Laura! Laura answers from the kitchenette. Yes, Mother? Let those dishes go and come in front. Laura appears with a dish towel. Amanda speaks to her gaily. Laura, come here and make a wish on the moon. The moon. Laura entering. Moon? Moon? Amanda, a little silver sliver of a moon. Look over your left shoulder, Laura, and make a wish. Laura looks faintly puzzled, as if called out of sleep. Amanda seizes her shoulders and turns her at an angle by the door. Now, darling, wish. Amanda, what shall I wish for, Mother? Amanda, her voice trembling and her eyes suddenly filling with tears. Happiness, good fortune. The sound of the violin rises, and the stage dims out. Scene 6. The light comes up on the fire escape landing. Tom is leaning against the grill, smoking. Screen image. The high school hero. Tom. And so the following evening, I brought Jim home to dinner. I had known Jim slightly in high school. In high school, Jim was a hero. He had tremendous Irish good nature and vitality with the scrubbed and polished look of white chinaware. He seemed to move in a continual spotlight. He was a star in basketball, captain of the debating club, president of the senior class and the glee club, and he sang the male lead in the annual light operas. He was always running or bounding, never just walking. He seemed always at the point of defeating the law of gravity. He was shooting with such velocity through his adolescence that you would logically expect him to arrive at nothing short of the White House by the time he was 30. But Jim apparently ran into more interference after his graduation from Soldan. His speed had definitely slowed. 6 years after he left high school, he was holding a job that wasn't much better than mine. Screen image. The clerk. He was the only one at the warehouse with whom I was on friendly terms. I was valuable to him as someone who could remember his former glory, who had seen him win basketball games and the Silver Cup in debating. He knew of my secret practice of retiring to a cabinet of the washroom to work on poems when business was slack in the warehouse. He called me Shakespeare, and while the other boys in the warehouse regarded me with suspicious hostility, Jim took a humorous attitude towards me. Gradually, his attitude affected the others. Their hostility wore off, and they also began to smile at me as people smile at an oddly fashioned dog who trots across their path at some distance. I knew that Jim and Laura had known each other at Soldan, and I had heard Laura speak admiringly of his voice. I didn't know if Jim remembered her or not. In high school, Laura had been an unobtrusive as Jim had been astonishing. If he did remember Laura, it was not as my sister, for when I asked him to dinner, he grinned and said, "You know, Shakespeare, I never thought of you as having folks." He was about to discover that I did. Legend on screen. The ascent of a coming foot. The light dims out on Tom and comes up in the wing-filled living room, a delicate lemony light. It is about 5 on a Friday evening of late spring, which comes scattering poems in the sky. Amanda has worked like a Turk in preparation for the gentleman caller. The results are astonishing. The new floor lamp with its rose silk shade is in place. A colored paper lantern conceals the broken light fixture in the ceiling. New billowing white curtains are at the windows. Chintz covers are on the chairs and sofa. A pair of new sofa pillows made their initial appearance. Open boxes and tissue paper are scattered on the floor. Laura stands in the middle of the room with lifted arms while Amanda crouches before her, adjusting the hem of a new dress, devout and ritualistic. The dress is colored and designed by memory. The arrangement of Laura's hair is changed. It is softer and more becoming. A fragile, unearthly prettiness has come out in Laura. She is like a piece of translucent glass touched by light, given a momentary radiance, not actual, but not lasting. Amanda, impatiently, "Why are you trembling?" Laura, "Mother, you've made me so nervous." Amanda, "How have I made you nervous?" "By all this fuss. You make it seem so important." Amanda, "I don't understand you, Laura. You couldn't be satisfied with just sitting home, and yet whenever I try to arrange something for you, you just seem to resist it." She gets up. Now take a look at yourself. No, wait just a moment. I have an idea." Laura, "What is it now?" Amanda produces 2 powder puffs, which she wraps in handkerchiefs and stuffs in Laura's bosom. Laura, "Mother, what are you doing?" Amanda, "They call them gay deceivers." Laura, "I won't wear them." Amanda, "You will." Laura, "Why should I?" Amanda, "Because, to be painfully honest, your chest is flat." Laura, "You make it seem like we were setting a trap." Amanda, "All pretty girls are a pretty trap, and men expect them to be." Legend on screen, a pretty trap. "Now look at yourself, young lady. This is the prettiest you will ever be. She stands back to admire Laura. I've got to fix myself now. You're going to be surprised by your mother's appearance. Amanda crosses through the portieres, humming gaily. Laura moves slowly to the long mirror and stares solemnly at herself. A wind blows the white curtains inward in a slow, graceful motion and with a faint, sorrowful sighing. Amanda, from somewhere behind the portieres, it isn't dark enough yet. Laura turns slowly before the mirror with a troubled look. Legend on screen. This is my sister. Celebrate her with strings. Music plays. Amanda, laughing, still not visible. I'm going to show you something. I'm going to make a spectacular appearance. Laura, what is it, Mother? Amanda, possess your soul in patience. You will see. Something I've resurrected from that old trunk. Styles haven't changed so terribly much after all. She parts the portieres. Now just look at your mother. She wears a girlish frock of yellowed viol with a blue silk sash. She carries a bunch of jonquils. The legend of her youth is nearly revived. Now she speaks feverishly. This is the dress in which I led the cotillion, won the cakewalk twice at Sunset Hill, wore one spring to the governor's ball in Jackson. See how I sashayed around the ballroom, Laura? She raises her skirt and does a mincing step around the room. I wore it on Sundays for my gentlemen callers. I had it on the day I met your father. I had malaria fever all that spring. The change of climate from East Tennessee to the Delta weakened resistance. I had a little temperature all the time, not enough to be serious, just enough to make me restless and giddy. Invitations poured in, parties all over the Delta. Stay in bed, said Mother. You have a fever, but I just wouldn't. I took quinine, but kept on going. Evenings, dances, afternoons, long rides, picnics. Lovely, so lovely, that country in May. All lacy with dogwood, literally flooded with jonquils. That is the spring. I had the craze for jonquils. Jonquils became an absolute obsession. Mother said, honey, there's no more room for jonquils. And still, I kept on bringing in more jonquils. Whenever I saw them, I'd say, stop, I see jonquils. I made the young men help me gather the jonquils. It was such a joke, Amanda and her jonquils. Finally, there was no more vases to hold them. Every available space was filled with jonquils. No vases to hold them. All right, I'll hold them myself. And then she stops in front of the picture. Music plays. I met your father. Malaria fever and jonquils, and then this boy. She switches on the rose-colored lamp. I hope they get here before it starts to rain. She crosses the room and places the jonquils in a bowl on the table. I gave your brother a little extra change so he and Mr. Connor could take the service car home. Laura, with an altered look. What did you say his name was? Amanda. O'Connor. Laura. What is his first name? Amanda. I don't remember. Oh, yes, I do. It was Jim. Laura sways slightly and catches hold of a chair. Legend on screen. Not Jim. Laura. Not Jim. Amanda. Yes, that was it. It was Jim. I've never known a Jim that wasn't nice. Laura. Are you sure his name is Jim O'Connor? Amanda. Yes, why? Laura. Is he the one that Tom used to know in high school? Amanda. He didn't say so. I think he just got to know him at the warehouse. Laura. There was a Jim O'Connor we both knew in high school. Then, with effort. If that is the one that Tom is bringing to dinner, you have to excuse me. I won't come to the table. Amanda. What sort of nonsense is this? Laura. You asked me once if I'd ever liked a boy. Don't you remember I showed you this boy's picture? Amanda. You mean the boy you showed me in the yearbook? Laura. Yes, that boy. Amanda. Laura, were you in love with that boy? Laura. I don't know, Mother. All I know is I couldn't sit at the table if it was him. Amanda. It won't be him. It isn't the least bit likely. But whether it is or not, you will come to the table. You will not be excused. Laura, I'll have to leave, Mother. I'll have to be. Amanda, I don't intend to humor your silliness, Laura. I've had too much from you and your brother, both. So just sit down and compose yourself till they come. Tom has forgotten his key, so you'll have to let them in when they arrive. Laura, panicky. Oh, Mother, you answer the door. Amanda, lightly. I'll be in the kitchen, busy. Laura, oh, Mother, please answer the door. Don't make me do it. Amanda, crossing into the kitchenette. I've got to fix the dressing for the salmon. Fuss, fuss, silliness, over a gentleman caller. The door swings shut. Laura is left alone. Legend on screen. Terror. She utters a low moan and turns off the lamp. Sits stiffly on the edge of the sofa, knotting her fingers together. Legend on screen. The opening of the door. Tom and Jim appear on the fire escape steps and climb to the landing. Hearing their approach, Laura rises with a panicky gesture. She retreats to the portieres. The doorbell rings. Laura catches her breath and touches her throat. Low drums sound. Amanda calling. Laura, sweetheart, the door. Laura stares at it without moving. Jim, I think we can just beat the rain. Tom, He rings again nervously. Jim whistles and fishes for a cigarette. Amanda, very, very gaily. Laura, is that your brother, Mr. O'Connor? Will you let them in, darling? Laura crosses toward the kitchenette door. Laura breathlessly, Mother, you go to the door. Amanda steps out of the kitchenette and stares furiously at Laura. She points imperiously at the door. Laura, please, please. Amanda, in a fierce whisper, what is the matter with you, you silly thing? Laura, desperately, please, you answer it, please. Amanda, I told you I wasn't going to humor you, Laura. Why have you chosen this moment to lose your mind? Laura, please, 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 you go. Amanda, you have to go to the door because I can't. Laura, despairingly, I can't either. Why? I'm sick. I'm sick, too, of your nonsense. Why can't you and your brother be normal people? Fantastic whims and behavior. Tom gives a long ring. Preposterous goings on. Can you give me one reason? She calls out lyrically. Coming. Just 1 second. Why, you should be afraid to open the door. Now you answer it, Laura. Laura, oh. She returns through the portieres, darts to the Victrola, winds it frantically, and turns it on. Amanda, Laura Wingfield, you march right to that door. Yes, Mother. A faraway, scratchy rendition of Dardanella softens the air and gives her strength to move through it. She slips to the door and draws it cautiously open. Tom enters with the caller, Jim O'Connor. Tom, Laura, this is Jim. Jim, this is my sister Laura. Jim, stepping inside. I didn't know that Shakespeare had a sister. Laura, retreating, stiff and trembling from the door. How do you do? Jim, heartily extending his hand. Okay. Laura touches it hesitantly with hers. Jim, your hand's cold, Laura. Laura, yes, well, I've been playing the Vitrola. Jim, must have been playing classical music on it. You ought to play a little hot swing music to warm you up. Laura, excuse me, I haven't finished playing the Victrola. She turns awkwardly and hurries into the front room. She pauses a second by the Victrola. Then she catches her breath and darts through the portieres like a frightened deer. Jim, grinning. What was the matter? Tom, oh, with Laura? Laura's terribly shy. Shy, huh? It's unusual to meet a shy girl nowadays. I don't believe you ever mentioned you had a sister. Tom, well, now you know, I have one. Here is the Post dispatch. You want a piece of it? Uh-huh. What piece? The comics? Sports. He glances at it. Old Dizzy Dean is on his bad behavior. Tom, uninterested. Yes. He lights a cigarette and goes over to the fire escape door. Where are you going? Tom, I'm going out on the terrace. Jim, going after him. You know, Shakespeare, I'm going to sell you a bill of goods. What goods? A course I'm taking. Huh? in public speaking. You and me, we're not the warehouse type. Tom, thanks, that's good news. But what has public speaking got to do with it? Jim, it fits you for executive positions. Tom, Jim, I tell you, it's done a hell of a lot for me. Executive at his desk. Tom, in what respect? Jim, in every. Ask yourself, what is the difference between you and me and men in the office down front? Brains. No. Ability. No. Then what? Just one little thing. Tom, what is that one little thing? Jim, primarily it amounts to social poise. Being able to square up to people who hold your own on any social level. Amanda from the kitchenette. Tom? Tom, yes, Mother. Amanda, is that you and Mr. O'Connor? Yes, Mother. Amanda, will you just make yourselves comfortable in there? Yes, Mother. Amanda, ask Mr. O'Connor if he would like to wash his hands. Jim, no, thank you. I took care of that at the warehouse. Tom, Tom, yes. Jim, Mr. Mendoza was speaking to me about you. Tom, favorably? What do you think? Well, you're going to be out of a job if you don't wake up. I am waking up. Jim, you show no signs. Tom, the signs are interior. Image on screen. The sailing vessel with the Jolly Roger again. Tom, I'm planning to change. He leans over the fire escape rail, speaking with quiet exhilaration. The incandescent marquees and signs of the first-run movie houses lights up his face from across the alley. He looks like a voyager. I'm right at the point of committing myself to a future that doesn't include the warehouse and Mr. Mendoza or even a night school course in public speaking. Jim, what are you gassing about? Tom, I'm tired of the movies. Jim, movies? Tom, yes, movies. Look at them. A wave toward the marvels of Grand Avenue. All of those glamorous people having adventures, hogging it all, gobbling the whole thing up. You know what happens. People go to the movies instead of moving. Hollywood characters are supposed to have all the adventures for everybody in America, while everybody in America sits in a dark room and watches them watches them have them. Yes, until there's a war. That's when adventure becomes available to the masses. Everyone's dish, not only Gable's. Then the people in the dark room come out of the dark room to have some adventures themselves. Goody goody. It's our turn now to go to the South Sea Island, to make a safari, to be exotic, far off. But I'm not patient. I don't want to wait till then. I'm tired of the movies, and I am about to move. Jim, move? Tom, yes. Jim, when? Soon. Where? The music seems to answer the question. While Tom thinks it over, he searches in his pockets. Tom, I'm starting to boil inside. I know I seem dreamy, but inside, well, I'm boiling. Whenever I pick up a shoe, I shudder at a little thinking how short life is and what I'm doing. Whatever that means. I know it doesn't mean shoes, except as something to wear on a traveler's feet. He finds what he has been searching for in his pockets and holds out a paper to Jim. Look, Jim, what? I'm a member. Jim, reading. The Union of Merchant Seamen. Tom, I paid my dues this month instead of the light bill. Jim, you will regret it when they turn the lights off. Tom, I won't be here. Jim, how about your mother? Tom, I'm like my father, the bastard son of a bastard. Did you notice how he's grinning in his picture there? And he's been absent going on 16 years. Jim, you're just talking, you drip. How does your mother feel about it? Shh, here comes Mother. Mother is not acquainted with my plans. Amanda, coming through the portieres. Where are you all? On the terrace, Mother. They start inside. She advances to them. Tom is distinctly shocked at her appearance. Even Jim blinks a little. He's making his first contact with girlish southern vivacity, and in spite of the night school course in public speaking, is somewhat thrown off the beam by the unexpected outlay of social charm. Certain responses are attempted by Jim, but are swept aside by Amanda's gay laughter and chatter. Tom is embarrassed, but after the first shock, Jim reacts very warmly. He grins and chuckles, is altogether won over. Amanda as a girl. Image on screen. Amanda, coyly smiling, shaking her girlish ringlets. Well, 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 so this is Mr. O'Connor. Introductions entirely unnecessary. I've heard so much about you from my boy. I finally said to him, Tom, good gracious, why don't you bring this paragon to supper? I'd like to meet this nice young man at the warehouse, instead of just hearing him sing your praises so much. I don't know why my son is so standoffish. That's not Southern behavior. Let's sit down, and I think we could stand a little more air in here. Tom, leave the door open. I felt a nice fresh breeze a moment ago. Where has it gone to? So warm already, and not quite summer even. We're going to burn up when summer really gets started. However, we're having a very light supper. I think light things are better for this time of year, the same as light clothes are. Light clothes and light food are what warm weather calls for. You know, our blood gets so thick during the winter, it takes a while for us to just adjust ourselves. When the season changes, it comes so quick this year. I wasn't prepared. All of a sudden, heavens, already summer. I ran to the trunk and pulled out this light dress, terribly old, historical almost, but feels so good and cool, you know. Mother, Amanda, yes, honey? How about supper? Amanda, honey, you go ask sister if supper is ready. You know that sister is in full charge of supper. Tell her you hungry boys are waiting for it. To Jim, have you met Laura? Jim, Amanda, let you in? Oh, good. You've met already. It's rare for a girl so pretty and sweet as Laura to be domestic. But Laura is, thank heavens, not only pretty, but also very domestic. I'm not at all. I never was a bit. I never could make a thing but angel food cake. Well, in the South, we had so many servants. Gone, gone, gone. All vestige of gracious living. Gone completely. I wasn't prepared for what the future brought me. All of my gentlemen callers were sons of planters, and so, of course, I assumed that I would be married to one and raise my family on a large piece of land with plenty of servants. But man proposes, and woman accepts the proposal. To vary the old saying a little bit, I married no planter. I married a man who worked for the telephone company. That gallantly smiling gentleman over there, she points to the picture. A telephone man who fell in love with long distance. Now he travels, and I don't even know where he is. But what am I going on for about my tribulations? Tell me yours. I hope you don't have any, Tom. Tom, returning. Yes, Mother? Amanda, is supper nearly ready? Tom, it looks to me like supper is on the table. Amanda, let me look. She rises prettily and looks through the portieres. Oh, lovely, but where's sister? Tom, Laura's not feeling well, and she says that she thinks she better not come to the table. Amanda, what? Nonsense. Laura! Oh, Laura! Laura from the kitchenette faintly. Yes, Mother? Amanda, you really must come to the table. We won't be seated until you come to the table. Come in, Mr. O'Connor. You sit over there, and I'll... Laura Wingfield. You're keeping us waiting, honey. We can't say grace until you come to the table. The kitchenette door is pushed weakly open, and Laura comes in. She is obviously quite faint, her lips trembling, her eyes wide and staring. She moves unsteadily toward the table. Screen legend, terror. Outside, a summer storm is coming on abruptly. The white curtains billow inward at the windows, and there is a sorrowful murmur from the deep blue dusk. Laura suddenly stumbles. She catches at a chair with a faint moan. Laura! Amanda, Laura! There is a clap of thunder. Screen legend. Ah. Despairingly. Why, Laura, you are ill, darling. Tom, help your sister into the living room, dear. Sit in the living room, Laura. Rest on the sofa. Well, to Jim as Tom helps his sister to the sofa in the living room. Standing over the hot stove made her ill. I told her that it was just too warm this evening, but Tom comes back to the table. Is Laura all right now? Tom, yes. Amanda, what is that? Rain? A nice cool rain has come up. She gives Jim a frightened look. I think we may have grace now. Tom looks at her stupidly. Tom, honey, you say grace. Tom, oh, for these and all thy mercies. They bow their heads. Amanda stealing a nervous glance at Jim. In the living room, Laura, stretched on the sofa, clenches her hand to her lips to hold back a shuddering sob. God's holy name be praised. The scene dims out. And that's all for that. We'll start scene 7 in the next clip.